Thank you, Jonna. It's now my pleasure to welcome our speaker for this evening, Jen Rosson.
Tonight's inspirational reading is from the book In Tune with the Infinite, published in 1908 by George Bell and Sons of London and written by Ralph Waldo Trine, a leading New Thought writer in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. There is a golden thread that runs through every religion in the world. There is a golden thread that runs through the lives and the teachings of all the prophets, seers, sages, and saviors in the world's history, through the lives of all men and women of truly great and lasting power. All that they have ever done or attained to has been done in full accordance with law. What one has done, all may do. This same golden thread must enter into the lives of all who today in this busy workaday world of ours would exchange impotence for power, weakness and suffering for abounding health and strength, pain and unrest for perfect peace, poverty of whatever nature for fullness and plenty. Each is building his own world. We both build from within and we attract from without. Thought is the force with which we build, for thoughts are forces. Like builds like and like attracts like. In the degree that thought is spiritualized, does it become more subtle and powerful in its workings. This spiritualizing is in accordance with law and is within the power of all. Everything is first worked out in the unseen before it is manifested in the seen. In the ideal before it is realized in the real. In the spiritual before it shows forth in the material. The realm of the unseen is the realm of cause. The realm of the seen is the realm of effect. The nature of effect is always determined and conditioned by the nature of its cause. There is a divine sequence running through the universe. Within and above and below, the human will incessantly works the divine will. To come into harmony with it, and thereby with all the higher laws and forces, to come then into league and to work in conjunction with them, in order that they can work in league and in conjunction with us, is to come into the chain of this wonderful sequence. This is the secret of all success. This is to come into the possession of unknown riches, into the realization of undreamed of powers. As one comes into and lives continually in the full conscious realization of his oneness with the infinite life and power, then all else follows. This it is that brings the realization of such splendors and beauties and joys as a life that is thus related with the infinite power alone can know. This it is to exchange weakness and impotence for strength, sorrows and sighings for joy, fears and forebodings for faith, longings for realizations. This it is to come into fullness of peace, power, and plenty. This it is to be in tune with the infinite. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday evening Harmony Harbor gathering. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week so far. Our reading tonight by Ralph Waldo Trine was a good introduction to the basics of the philosophy of the New Thought movement, which originated in the early 19th century by some people that many of us are familiar with, forward thinkers like Anton Mesmer and Phineas Quimby. New Thought philosophy was an amalgamation of wisdom gathered from many different cultures, including the Greeks, Buddhists, Egyptians, and many others, culminating in their understanding that thought and mindfulness lead directly to manifestation. The core beliefs of the New Thought movement have continued through to the present day and are reflected in the thinking of many of us seeking spiritual enlightenment in our modern day society. These beliefs include the acknowledgement of a supreme directing intelligence, the recognition that each one of us is a divine, eternal spiritual being, the universal acceptance of the premise of the do unto others philosophy, and the understanding that what we think very readily manifests itself into our physical reality. In our reading tonight, Trine referred to a golden thread that interweaves everything throughout the cosmos, intersecting every aspect of life. This golden thread is the universal constant of natural law. It can be defined in a couple different ways as a body of unchanging moral principles regarded as a basis for all human conduct speaks to its spiritual nature in that definition. A more scientific definition speaks to its physical nature as an observable law relating to natural phenomena. These two aspects of natural law share the characteristics of impartiality and consistency, regardless of culture, origin, or opinion. The concept of universal natural laws has been around long before the New Thought movement was conceived. The Greek philosophers Aristotle and Plato, as well as the Roman philosopher Cicero, all wrote of using reason to analyze human behavior, and then came up with many universal moral standards or principles. Both the Old and New Testaments of the Bible make reference to the concepts of natural law, and numerous other philosophers have written extensively on the subject, including Thomas Aquinas and Thomas Hobbes. A lot of these great minds used their natural law arguments as the reasoning behind challenging the powers in charge in their time period and charging them into making societal and governmental changes. This reasoning also challenged the divine right of kings and was part of the argument used for our own country's Declaration of Independence. The world has changed significantly since Plato and Aristotle first wrote about their views on natural law, but it remains a common link between different times, different societies, and different cultures. These universal constants don't change, but we human beings do. We evolve not only physically as a species, but intellectually as well. So our understanding of natural law evolves over time too. In the early 1500s, Copernicus postulated that the Earth was not the center of the universe, as had been believed. He stated that the Earth and the other planets in our solar system actually revolved around the sun, not around Earth, as previously taught by the Church Fathers. This was viewed as an act of heresy by many, but he turned out to be correct through the evolving knowledge of the laws of celestial mechanics. Humans needed to evolve intellectually to gain that understanding of the natural laws that were at work. Likewise, gravity was a force that existed before Sir Isaac Newton formulated his 3 laws of motion, which composed the groundwork of physics and led to the formal law of gravitation. This too had always been a universal constant. Ancient humans didn't go floating off the planet prior to Newton's epiphany, but we had to reach a point of intellectual recognition and comprehension to understand why not. The spiritual side of natural law is similar in nature to the physical side. It too requires a certain level of development and perception to recognize the constants that have always been present. One example might be the almost universal axiom referred to by many as the golden rule. It is expressed in some manner or form in every major religion in most developed societies. This do unto others as you wish to receive in turn idea provides a guideline for positive, mindful human interaction. It acts as a moral compass, reminding us that our actions can have wide-ranging consequences. While not all spiritual laws are as universally acknowledged as the golden rule or some of the physical laws, Henry Drummond, author of Natural Law in the Spirit World, wrote that natural law is like a great line running through the universe, reducing it like parallels of latitude into an intelligent order. Sounds like Trine's golden thread, right? In other words, physical natural laws, whether we recognize or understand them, bring order and logic to this physical existence, with or without our conscious cooperation. The spiritual side of natural law brings with it love and the light of wisdom. The knowledge that Source has provided a link between this physical plane of existence and the next, through the constant of natural law on both sides of the equation. The difference between the physical and the spiritual is that on the spiritual side, we are conscious participants in whether we choose to embrace the opportunity that spiritual partnership with the infinite presents. Part of our growth as spiritual seekers revolves around the concepts of free will and personal responsibility. We as individuals have to shoulder the burden of accountability for our own souls and consciously decide how we want to conduct ourselves on this physical journey that we're sharing. Metaphysical author Raymond Smullyan wrote, "Free will is a part and parcel of the very essence of consciousness. A conscious being without free will is simply a metaphysical absurdity." As we move forward, day by day, moment by moment, the choices we make through our own inherent free will enables us to live in accordance with natural law, inhibiting conflict and strife, leading to a more peaceful existence for everyone. Our duty is to be wise enough to recognize the progression of a given moment. First, there is a thought, then words and actions subsequently follow. Being mindfully aware of how our thoughts affect ourselves and all of those around us is paramount to living a conscious life dedicated to gaining spiritual wisdom and understanding. Remember Trine's words, we build from within and we attract from without. We live in a continuous state of manifesting our reality. The law of thought and the law of attraction are joint partners in this endeavor and ultimately reveal the state of our spiritual growth. In the end, knowledge and understanding of the reality of natural law should just be a great solace to every soul sharing this human experience. The universe isn't some gigantic chaotic mess. There are constants and purpose behind it all. Recognized by the great philosophers and thinkers throughout all of human existence, Natural law is the perfect example of the continuity between the physical and the spiritual, the golden thread of our existence as eternal beings, each one of us carrying a spark of the divine within. In our reading tonight, Trine referred to the challenge facing humankind with the busy workaday world inhibiting our ability to focus on spiritual matters. That was in 1908. I did have a chuckle about that a little bit when I read it. I wondered, what would Ralph Waldo Trine think about the challenges all of us face in this technologically driven society in which we live? Distractions surround us all the time, right? But no matter our time frame, the focus and goal of this incarnation hasn't really changed. To be conscious and mindful of thought and deed, to be aware of opportunity for appreciation and gratitude, to be present in the moment and aware of our responsibilities to ourselves and to each other. These are some of the many attributes we strive to achieve as spiritual seekers, seeking attunement with the infinite. The physical and spiritual sides of our existence are inextricably connected, providing inspiration, purpose, and opportunity for expanding our eternal horizons. My partner and I currently live out in the country in the Pacific Northwest, and the night skies are absolutely spectacular. No light pollution at all. I'm a big science fiction fan, and I often wonder when I'm gazing upwards if there is someone out there somewhere looking up at their night sky. Maybe they have two moons instead of one. Maybe they refer to God by a specific name given by their culture. Whatever the differences, we still share the same universal constants of natural law, the physical and scientific constants, and the spiritual constants of love and light. I don't know about you, but my soul finds great comfort in that knowledge. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to serve Harmony Harbor this evening. I hope you have a blessed week.